Let's get salty!
Everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video, and as we are getting closer and closer to rotation and we really need to fill some content while we wait, I thought we would go over what we do every year around this time and take a look at the 3 expansions that will be rotating to Wild, again, likely in March, mid-March, in Whizbang's Workshop, Perils in Paradise, and the Great Dark Beyond. Take a look at those expansions and what epics and legendaries, because rares and commons are pretty easy to come by, that you should disenchant when that rotation time comes by for cards that are, competitive in that Wild format. Or, if they ever bring back Twist, but at this point, let's be real, that's probably not happening. But as a disclaimer, if you don't plan on playing Wild and you don't care about the mode at all, yeah, you can disenchant all these cards when rotation happens. Wait until then. But until then, we'll give our advice on what, you will probably not want to hold on to and give you some idea of what, you have going for you when rotation occurs. And of course, you want to stay up to date for the news of when that occurs, or if we do get a balance patch, which I think we'll get early next week, who knows? But anyways, hit that sub button down below, give the video a like as it helps the channel out a lot. So starting off with Whizbang's Workshop, I think it's pretty safe to say for Deathlight just not good in Wild right now. It's just not good. And cards like Silk Stitching, Rainbow Seamstress, which is like really good in Rainbow decks, Dr. Stitch and So, which has never been good in Standard, and the Headless Horseman, which has seen play off and on, and I love the card. I don't think if you want to play Wild on a more competitive level, you'll be free to disenchant all these cards. I would not recommend on holding on to any of them. For Deathlight, you never know with red card. Doesn't see a ton of play right now. Quest Demon Hunters are really good in Wild, as well as some other like aggro decks, but they typically run the 1-mana Silence, which could draw, has outcast synergies. You might not want to hold on to red card. CCG will be an easy disenchant. Window Shopper is a way too large a window of, well, pardon the pun, a window of demons to hit in the Wild format, so you wouldn't want to keep that as well. And Mechtherodon has never seen play in Wild. If it's expensive, it almost never sees play unless you can cheat it out. So again, pretty much you can get rid of every single card from that class. For Druid, again, similar story. Jade Display has been terrible in every mode. Arena, even if Twist was there, would be bad. And Smollett is a card that surprised me. Never popped up in Standard, and in Wild has never really been a thing. Aviana, random legendaries ain't winning the game, but you can hold on to it, I guess, for nostalgia's sake, because it is a pretty fun card, but competitive wise, no. And Toyrantis and even Alonius, none of these cards have seen remotely any competitive play in Wild. So far, I'm saying holding on to 0 Whizbang cards. This will be an interesting one. Mystery Egg, if it gets reverted to what it used to be, the 5 mana and 4 less, it'll be broken in Wild again. Like, that was an insane, like, infinite rusher combo. As it stands, it's not worth holding on to if they don't revert it, but keep an eye on that when we go over reverts. If that's on the list, you might want to hold on to that card. Hemet, I forgot this card existed, has never seen any play in any format. You definitely don't need to hold on to that. Product 9, even though there's a ton of secret synergies in Wild and a lot of good stuff going on there, again, not a card I'm going to hold on to. RC Rampage, never seen play in Wild. Too slow, even if it goes back to 4 mana, which I imagine it would, but you never know. I still wouldn't hold on to it. And again, King Plush will be another interesting one. If this gets reverted, does Imbue Hunter become like a Wild thing? Probably not. Probably another safe disenchant. And again, we're not holding on to any Wild cards. We're gonna hold on to any in this entire video. Should I just skip ahead and say don't keep anything? Watercolor Artist, and we, even though it could get Ice Block, keep Khadgar, not reliable enough. Keep Yaga the Box's 8 mana. There's better big spells to cheat out if you're looking for that in Wild, so you wouldn't keep that. But this is probably the first one, the Galactic Projection Orb, where there are some shenanigans with Romath, some infinite possibilities. It's not the most meta thing out there, but there have been people that have tried to make this work, but it's more of like a time warp thing when the quest mage is around. But this is one I would probably hold on to just in case, as long as Romath infinite stuff is around. You never know in the orb, but you probably will not want to hold on to it, but it's one you could consider. It's the first one I feel like maybe you consider holding on to. Next, we have Cardboard Golem, which just got buffed and still sees 0 play in Wild, very little play in Standard, but a little bit. Flash Sale, good Standard card. Not so great wild card. Again, would not hold on to it. Doesn't really go into any aggro strategies. Boy Captain Terrain, really good card. Not good in wild. Don't need to hold on to it. And Pipsy hasn't seen play since the Zilliax nerfs to like the Unkilliax version. Maybe if that gets reverted, but that was never a wild strat. So again, another card I would not keep. Chalk Artist has seen 0 play in either format. Easy Disenchant. Raza, I would hold on to until the reverts. Well, you don't want to, well, actually, do you play it now? Probably not. But anyways, I would hold off for sure until we see the reverts. If it goes back to making it so you can, you know, do your hero power over and over, that's a good wild card. The double Raza Priest, I think that would come back and be a real thing. So I would consider holding on to it if that happens. Zarimi, if this gets fully reverted, this is another one that would be a wild player. He probably goes back into like aggro Shadow Priest as just an alternate like win con, spam some dragons, get an extra turn. So this is one you could consider, again, only if it's fully reverted and repackaged. You have Psychic Screaming Wild. That sees like no play. It's way better than this. So repackage is certainly not a keep. Sonya, even if she gets fully reverted, you probably don't keep her. Never really a player in Wild the way she was. There's Pogo Hopper, which is pretty cool, and other stuff you could do. But overall, I mean, you could still do that, I guess, with one cosmetic. Regardless, I wouldn't hold on to Sonya. Water Cannon saw a little bit of played Standard. Nothing in Wild is another card you won't hold on to. Goldbeard, never really a player in Wild. Another card you wouldn't hold on to. And Everything Must Go can also go, even if it goes back to 8 mana, where again, it saw 0 play in Wild. Even though, like, the Miracle Cycle Rogue thing is way better in Wild, certainly a playable deck there. You just have other things you can cheat out, and I don't think this has ever made the cut. I could be wrong. It might be one you want to consider holding on to, considering, yeah, with like Secret Passage and all those draw cards, maybe it slots in there, but I feel like it hasn't. But again, keep that one in the back of your mind. Hagatha, never really seen the light of day in Wild. Feels like it's one that could, you never know, pop up. It's one that I wouldn't recommend like auto disenchanting if like you don't need the 400 dust or whatever, or 1600 on the golden. Maybe hold on to it, but she really hasn't seen play in Wild. Definitely not Once Upon a Time. I've never seen that see play in the format or in Standard. Shutterblock is a card I can't say to disenchant because triple Battlecry, you just never know, especially with Shutterblock decks. I know it's not really seeing much Wild play right now, but it's something I would not feel comfortable saying disenchant for the effect and the fact those Disruption Shamans and, you know, the Battlecry Shamans have been historically really good in the format. It's one I would probably hold on to. And yeah, Shining Sentinel, I don't think I've ever seen this in Standard or Wild, so certainly a card you will not keep. Malefic Rook, wouldn't hold on to that at all, even with the Demon Seed, not particularly great. Curse Campaign, even if it goes back to 3 mana, never saw any Wild play. Same with Game Master Nemzi. So many crazy epics and legendaries that haven't really seen played Standard, right? It's kind of crazy to look at. Regardless, even though there's crazy demon stuff in Wild, not a card you hold on to. And Wheel of Death has never really seen the light of day in Wild. It's something I would hold on to, again, rainy day style of thing. Any card that says it could destroy the enemy hero, you just never know. But I can't really honestly think of one Wheel of Death Warlock in Wild. So again, probably safe to disenchant. I just want to throw that out there. Reckham and Deckham, Inventor Boom, even if it's reverted, and Bot Face, I think are all safe disenchants. However, Chemical Spell, especially if it goes back to 5, the Thaddeus Warrior has been pretty decent at times, and there's other possible combos this can enable. I'd probably hold on to it. This is a card that can really do some obscene things in the format, so another card I would actually consider holding on to. Zilliax, keep it, even if they don't revert anything with it. It's just gonna pop up every once in a while. The lifesteal you can get, or making the thing cheaper. Don't disenchant this card, even if they don't revert anything. I have no idea what the plan is on that, but I would not disenchant that. But cards like Corridor Sleeper, Pro Gamer, definitely can be disenchanted. Whizbang, keep it if you love the decks, right? It's never been competitive, but it'll constantly be there, and I don't think they'll update it or anything like that unless it auto updates somehow, but I can't say disenchant Whizbang. It's such a cool card. Sad to see him go. Nostalgic Clown, not particularly great. If Dorian goes back to 4, maybe because of Oaken Summons and Wild, but other than that, I would not probably hold on to Dorian. Replicanator, Lena Shop Manager, Origami Dragon, Califero, Geppetto, or the Factory Assembly Bot, they can all be safely disenchanted. Playhouse Giant, if it gets reverted, might go into Cycle Rogue. That's basically it. If you really like Cycle Rogue, you would probably want to hold on to it at 20 mana. But other than that, not a ton of cards from that set that are that wild, playable. For Perils in Paradise, we take a look. Slippery Slope, Freebooter, Buttons, even Eliza. None of them, again, I don't even know if I'm going to say anything for Deathlight to keep, just because I can't think of a competitive Deathlight in Wild. The win rate is bad in Wild for that class. For Demon Hunter, definitely keep Patches of Pilot. Great in aggro, great in the cycle, like quest. Demon Hunter, unbelievably good card. You do not want to get rid of that if you play the Wild format. Arana, again, another card you want to hold on to, goes into aggro quite often. It also goes into the quest deck. It gives you an alternate win condition. The 2 legendaries you definitely want to keep, but Climbing Hook, and even if Cliff Dive does go back to 6, has never seen play in Wild, despite the fact it is a terror in Standard at the moment. For Wild, New Heights, keep the ramp card. It's good. It can go to multiple Druid decks. The more ramp, the better. Mista Vista, not really a need for it, so definitely a card you could disenchant. Cruise Captain Laura, for sure. And if you want to play Yasel at all, you keep Sleep Under the Stars. It's absolutely busted with Yasel because, yeah, refreshing for 1 mana, gaining 3 mana, drawing. You can just OTK with it. Very, very safe keep there. Chatty Macaw, Death Roll, Ranger Gilly, and Sasquatch. I think all the Hunter cards are pretty safe disenchants, unless this sees play maybe in some like greedy Reno Hunter list. You might want to consider holding on to it for that reason. There are those decks and they aren't that bad. I just don't think Sasquatch really fits into them, but it's something you can consider. With Mage, go with the flow. King Tide and Tsunami, I would not hold on to whatsoever. Even if they make Tsunami back to like 10 mana, get the 4 water elementals. Never saw play in Wild, but Skyla is worth keeping if you play Hostage Mage in particular. Getting their weapon with the coin, getting their draw location, really solid. Sees play right now, so Skyla I would hold on to for Mage. For Paladin, Lanessa is an absolute keep. If you're playing, Librams at all, or just any type of combo deck, it's so freaking good. It's fallen off in recent times in Standard, but in Wild, still sees plenty of play. But like Sankazel, Service Ace, the Sea Shanty, none of those have really seen the day in Wild, and I don't expect them to anytime soon. So those are cards you don't need to hold on to. Vol'jin, I would hold on to it. Really solid card. Sees play in like Reno, Priest in particular, can enable a lot of good stuff. Hold on to that. If you're playing like a greedy Control Priest, probably keep Sooth Fancy. Not a great card in Wild, but more copies of greedy cards I know a lot of Priest players enjoy. So yeah, I would hold on to that one as well. But Twilight Medium and Sensory Deprivation are very easy disenchants. Swarthy, Sword Shiner, Maestra, Mask Merchant, Treasure Hunter Eudora, as well as Snatch and Grab. I would not keep any of the rogue cards, none of them in meta in Wild, although I do have a soft spot for Eudora, which is cool, and I'm glad it's had a little bit of time to shine right before rotation has occurred. Carefree Cookie, although decent in Standard at times, 0 play in Wild. Natural Talent you don't need to hold on to. Turbulus, again, tourist cards, and especially getting, I believe, Parrot Sanctuary, the location for Hunter, for like a Shudderwalk Shaman. I would hold on to Turbulus. It's just a decent card. Battlecry Shaman is just always pretty relevant in the format, so I would hold on to that. But Caress, Cabaret Star, and even if they revert Razzle Dazzler to 6, I would disenchant those cards as well. For Warlock, Announce Darkness, unless you're a memer, you would get rid of Curse Souvenir, although saw a bit of play once in a while, some like aggressive pain locks and stuff like that. The Demon Seed kind of, still wouldn't recommend holding on to it, but you could consider it. Dark Marrow, never really seen the light of day in Wild, and neither has Avona. So basically, you don't really need to keep any of the Warlock cards. For Warrior, my goodness, Food Fight, even if it goes back to 3, you don't need to keep it. You don't need to keep Rye Cleaver. You could consider keeping Ham. You get access to new heights, Sleep Under the Stars. I've seen like Reno Hunters, Warriors play it, stuff like that. It's a consideration. One I would not auto disenchant if you're a Warrior player. Probably hold on to it. It's a pretty good card, plus Disruption. Always a premium in Wild, and the Draconic Delicacy, easy disenchant. And for the neutrals, even though Adaptive Amalgam's pretty cool, I wouldn't hold on to it. Zeph would not. Mixologist, is that one where you could disenchant? No idea. Anyways, I wouldn't keep it. Carry On Grub. Is Gorgon Zormu the free legendary? It is. Either way, if you could disenchant it, like the signature, you could get rid of it because it's not going to really pop up back up in Wild because it never really did. Even Grifta, which has been really insane in Standard, easy disenchant. AFK, Carnivorous Cubicle, Dread Deserter did see a tiny bit of play in like some crazy OTK deck in Wild that got nerfed a while ago, so you probably don't need to hold on to it, but you never know. And yeah, Incendious, even if it goes back to 6, too slow for Wild. Marin is free, but if you get the signature of it, probably don't need to hold on to it. Dungar, I would definitely keep this card. It is meta right now. In Druid, it can enable broken combos. Maybe it goes back to 9, hopefully not. But regardless, you can keep Dungar if it is craftable, which I think only the Diamond one isn't. And Seaside Shine, if it gets reverted, I just hold on to it because I keep making more locations. You never know. So just something to keep an eye out for. And the last expansion, the Great Dark Beyond, I would keep Maladar. You just never know, right? Mass Mana Cheat, I know DK sucks in Wild, but it's something to consider. But everything else, even like Kerrigan, 8 Hands, Akanite, Death Speaker, Guiding Figure, even if it gets reverted, would not keep those Death Knight cards. For Demon Hunter, I don't think you keep any of these. That's Eldritch Being. I mean, Shuffling the Hand, has that ever mattered? Emergency Meeting, Durdra, right? Durdra, Rebel Captain. We have Zortoth. None of those cards saw play. And again, Kerrigan, I don't think the StarCraft stuff is all that relevant. For Druid, Othar, Cosmic Phenomenon, Ulu, the Everdrifter, Final Frontier. None of these cards I don't think you need to keep. And again, none of the StarCraft cards really saw the light of day in Wild, even at 7 mana. So I don't think you would keep any of those. For Hunter, yes, yes, and yes. Keep Niall. She's insane. You could play her in Reno decks. You just never know what she can do for you in that format. Absolutely hold on to Niall. Gorm, you don't need to. Definitely not. Parallax Cannon, Specimen Claw as well. Again, Kerrigan, you don't need to keep any of those, but definitely Exarch Niall is pretty much an auto keep, I think, for any format if you want to play it. Pocket Dimension, Hotaru, Sorin, as well as, Artanis and all that. And Supernova, don't keep any of them. They don't see play in Wild. Barely saw play in Standard. At least some of them didn't. Again, easy disenchant. For Paladin, Libram of Divinity. If you like Libram Paladin in Wild, you want to keep this. It's still a very good deck. This gets down to 0 way faster in that format, and you can combo it with other stuff. Definitely keep it, but yeah, Yssel or Yrel, Celestial Aura, Lumia has seen a little bit of play in like Reno Paladin, so it's one you could consider in those more defensive Reno Paladin. It could buy you some time. You never know, so it's one you might want to consider. But yeah, compared to the other ones, I don't think there's much going on there. So Libram of Divinity for Paladin and Lumia for Priest. Gravity Lapse, if you like Astral Automaton decks, it could do some pretty cool stuff. But overall, not the most meta card out there. Cure, as well as Ascara and Mystified Toka, and even the Mothership in Wild. No point in keeping any of those cards. They haven't seen like any play. And if you want to get to 42 health, just play Renethal. You start at 40. You don't need to worry about those 2 extra hit points. For Rogue, Lucky Comet, Tolgath, as well as the Gravitational Displacer. And of course, I've mentioned already the StarCraft stuff you do not need to hold on to. But sadly, Quasar, especially with Trickster, I can't say to safely disenchant this card. It always sees a little bit of play. It's never like top tier competitive, but it's only ever going to kind of get better because as long as you can Trickster this, you just never know what you can do with it because yeah, as early as like turns 2 and 3 potentially with like counterfeit coin, it's a card I can't recommend disenchanting despite the fact I cannot stand it. For Shaman, Bull-Eyed Behemoth, Nobundu, and Nebula, I would not keep those cards. They have never really seen play in Wild. If a Murmur gets a Reaver back to where it was, where you could keep just playing Battlecry after Battlecry, it would be a keep. For Shutterwalk Shaman, like Grumble, Shutterwalk, all that stuff, absolutely you can keep it, but that's only if it's reverted. As it stands, it's useless in Wild, so just to keep an eye on that. For Warlock, Healthstone, if you want to play the Demon Seed, this card is insane in it. It's a tradable, it's 0 mana. I've seen heal like 20, 30 in a turn. What it can do is disgusting. Absolutely keep that card for the Wild format. But Kara, Archimon, the Black Hole are cards you definitely do not need to keep if you are a Wild player. For Warrior, Stalwart Avenger, I forgot that Draenei existed again. Exarch Akama, just like Blizzard, right? Moldara and Dwarf Planet are easy disenchants. Don't keep them. And then for neutrals, Shafar, if it gets reverted, you might want to consider holding on to it, where it can keep stacking because there's a lot of copy effects in the format. However, Ace Wayfinder, Doom Maiden, Mutating Light Form, Starval Pira, I would not hold on to those cards. Kill Jaded, I guess if you're to the ultra greedy stuff, or maybe like Mill Druid, I've seen them play this card. It's what I'd keep in my back pocket. It could be relevant, and if you like those style of decks, it absolutely is relevant. So Kill Jaden is a keep only in that special situation. The Exodar is free, I believe. Velen, once the Serenite Chain Gang got nerfed, there's no point of it in Wild. Grunty, absolutely keep it, right? Super broken. No, you can disenchant it. I was very wrong, and I don't know how many more times we'll bring up Grunty, but yes, you could disenchant him. Red Giant is a disenchant and ceaseless. Even as it stands, I'd keep it. Neutral board clear, you never know what you can do with this with mana cheat. If they ever get crazy and revert Holy Wrath, but just dredging this in Warrior to gain 125 armor, absolute keep this card. Even if it gets reverted, whatever, doesn't matter. You are keeping the ceaseless expand. So there you go. My tips on what to keep going to Wild. Let me know what you agree with and disagree with. Maybe there's something I'm not thinking of that you want to advise players on why you might want that card or might not want that card. And if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.